Hi, this is Steinberg, and today I'm talking about 3 more modify commands. We will be covering, or actually 4, sorry. We'll be covering trim, extend, fillet, and chamfer. So I have my objects drawn here, and what I want to do is to create something that's kind of curved at this end. It'll be angled at this end, joined together, and I want to get rid of these little tails that are sticking out all over the place. So I'm going to start by using my trim command. And if I go up here, trim is located right here. And with the trim command, I have 2 options. The first option is that I can tell it exactly what lines I'm going to cut back to. So I could say cut to this line and then cut this piece off. Or I can hit enter because select all is in brackets, which gives me that as a default, which is what I'm going to do, because with that, everything in the drawing becomes a cutting edge, and I can choose which pieces I want to take out. The important thing to notice with trim is that you can only trim back an object that goes through another object. So you have to have something that you're cutting up to. Otherwise, it would just be an erase command and take out the whole line. So here I'm going to trim this section, and this section, this section, and this section, this section, and this section. And then I'm done because I'm going to leave these. I want to merge these together into one object eventually. So my next step is going to be to use the extend command, which is right below trim on the drop-down menus. And extend allows you to take a line that's already coming out of an object and extend it out in whichever direction it's pointing until it meets another object. So as long as these two are lined up, I can say extend and I can select this object and then this object and tell them to go, or sorry, I did that in the wrong order actually. Let's go, we can say extend, and we're going to hit enter to select all again to make the whole thing an extension. And now when I click on that line, it will extend it out to meet the next thing that it touches, which is the line in front of it. So I'm going to go there, and now I have this line that goes all the way through to make it one object. You'll see that the original short piece over here is still here, and that's because it actually extends to the first intersection that it comes to, not just to the end of the line. So I could technically remove those if I wanted to. I could go back into my trim command and hit enter. I'm going to pick just the little section on both sides. Okay, now I want to look at the fillet command, and it is pronounced fillet in drafting, even though the word looks similar to fillet for meat. And fillet allows you to round the edge of a squared off corner. And so what we're going to do is select the fillet command, and if I were to just click on the lines that I want to curve between this corner, it would use the radius that was the default for the program. So it's easier if I type R first. You can see that that's one of the choices up here, or I could click the word radius and hit enter, and then I can tell it the specific radius that I want to do. So for example here, I'm going to say I want it to do 1. And now I can tell it the 2 arms that I want it to round between, and it rounds that edge right off for me, and it trims out the excess from the corner there. I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom, and you will have seen in the fillet command that one of the options was multiple. I can put M for multiple or click on it, and then I would be able to do more than one corner at once if I want to. However, I still actually only want to do that one because I just wanted those 2 corners rounded off. Now under the fillet command there is a chamfer command. Chamfer is very similar, but what it's going to do is create a diagonal bevel on the corner instead. And as you can see with the chamfer command, sorry if I can get into the up here, no, move if I do that. You can see that the corners can be either the same distance, so I could say that both of them were to come in 1 inch, or you can have 2 separate distances so that they're angled more steeply. So I'm going to do the chamfer command, and I'm going to tell it distance, And in this case, I want my distance to be the same, so I'm going to say go in 1 on the first corner that I pick, or on the first line that I pick, and one on the second line. And then I'm going to choose the first line and the second line, and it will bevel off that corner. Now I could go back into the chamfer command and do the same thing, or like the other one, I could do multiple if I have multiple corners that I want to do at the same time. Here I'm just going to go ahead and accept the distances, 1 and 1, and do this corner. Okay, so now I have this beveled off the way that I want it to be, and the final command, or sorry, I've done all 4 of my commands there. Just to show you what the chamfer command looks like if I do different distances, I'm going to say 1 for the first distance and 2 for the second distance. Now it's important, whichever line that I click on first is going to be the one that gets trimmed in at 2 inches, and then, or sorry, 1 inch, and then the second one that I pick will go in at 2 inches. So I'm going to pick this line and this line, and it goes in 1 inch on that side and 2 inches on this side. All right, 4 more basic commands.